Seems like I'm always making desserts rather than savouries and things like that, but this time I'm doing it again. So I'm going to make a rhubarb crumble. I used to have a lot of apple and rhubarb crumble when I was a younger girl, and that had a lot of sugar, flour, cinnamon, all sorts of carby things. This one's going to be a almond flour version, what I've got in here at the moment, and again I'm just winging it, so I'm just going to make up all these measurements as we're going along together. So in here I've got about 40 grams of butter, which is just a couple of chunks cut off. I'm going to microwave that just to soften it. And then I have got some coconut flour and some almond meal as well, and a little bit of natpia, which is the sweetener that I choose to use. I've got rhubarb. So I've already gone and cut the rhubarb up. There's about 300 grams of rhubarb in here. This is fresh from my garden. I did a video the other day of myself making my veggie boxes, so I'm going to do a YouTube video of my veggie patch and all the boxes that we've been making. But anyway, in here I've got about 300 grams of rhubarb. I'm going to put about a dessert spoon of sugar in here, or natpia, sorry. A little bit of water. Shouldn't have done that, Chris is in the shower. Anyway, there's a little bit of water here, and I'll just let the rhubarb simmer. So while I'm doing that, I'll get my crumble mat happening. So my butter's nice and soft, kind of. And I like to get in and use my hands, so they have been washed. And I'll use a mixture of almond flour and coconut flour. I like to use more almond meal than I do the coconut. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dessert spoons. And 1, 2 of the coconut. So, oh, and I better put some sweetener in there too. And about a dessert spoon of natpia. So I'm just going to crumble that up with my hands. So the butter's not runny or anything like that, it's just nice and pliable. And what I want to do is have this nice and crumbly. So mix all the butter and the dry ingredients together and have it sort of resembling fine breadcrumbs, I guess, because I want to sprinkle that over the top of my rhubarb. If the mixture's too wet, I'll just add some more dry ingredients. So I've probably used a little bit too much butter, but again, it depends on how much crumble you want to have on top. And I actually like the crumble on top. As a kid, Mum used to make this all the time, the flour version, and we used to just love her making extra crumble so that we could eat that on the side before the pastries and things were made. So this is still way too wet. As I said, I like my crumble, so I'll put more in. So what's that make it? 5, 6. So far we've got 7 dessert spoons of almond. 3 and 4 of the coconut. I don't really go by many set ingredients. I try to make things up as I go. Most of what I do in the kitchen is an experiment. Poor Chris is my guinea pig usually, but most things work out. So it's looking a bit better, and I'll try it in a minute just to make sure it's sweet enough. So if I squeeze it together, it'll make a nice ball. This reminds me of the biscuit recipes Mum used to make when we were kids. We'll just eat that like this. So I'd like it a little bit drier, and needs to be a bit sweeter as well. Not too much though. So I'll put another half a dessert spoon. Another spoon of coconut. I've lost count, so it's 2, 4, I think that's 5. I'll have to go back and watch this video to see how many spoons I've put in, and I'll write it in at the end. And I'm dropping crumbs all over the floor. So it's still quite wet, but it crumbles really nicely. Just needs a bit more. So I think that works out to be 2 dessert spoons of the sweetener. Again, it's just to your taste. You've got to taste it and see if you want it any sweeter. And I'll leave this, wait for the rhubarb to cook, and when that's cooked, I'll be ready to put this in a pan and bake it and eat it tonight. Okay, so I've let the rhubarb cook for about 5 minutes or so. It was still a little bit firm, but I've turned the stove off and just let it soften up by itself for another 5 minutes or so. So here's my rhubarb sludge, which is mighty tasty. So most of that's all softened. And I've got a little dividing dish, a casserole dish. This one's pretty cool because I can actually use it for 2 nights. Chris and I'll have some tonight, and then we'll have some tomorrow. It's a little bit too carby to have in one night. And I've already tasted it to make sure it's sweet enough for us. I like the tartness in the rhubarb. Okay, so all I need to do now is put the rhubarb crumble over the top of this. Do you want to taste the stick? Alright, my taste tester's in the lounge. Okay, so all I need to do is crumble this over the top, just like that. I do have a little bit more crumble than I usually have, but it was quite a wet mixture today. So cover all the rhubarb, and I've got the oven set to about 180. It'll go in for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm just going to wait until this goes golden at the top. When it's golden, then it's ready. Okay, so I've just taken this out of the oven. It's been about 15 minutes in the oven, 180 degrees. I could smell it before I went and checked it, so you can start smell the crumble anyway. So it's nice and golden brown. It's quite hot, but ready to dish up. So this is enough for 4 people. We don't want to be too greedy. So this crumble is a little bit more crumbly than I like. I like them to stick together a little bit more, so I might have next time made it a little bit more wet, I guess. But each time I make it, it turns out a little bit differently anyway. So there we go, I'll get rid of this one. We have we have 2 rhubarb crumbles and some cream I whipped while I was waiting for it to cook. And we're ready to dig in. Do you want yours, Chris? You want some crumble?
Yeah.
Come and get it. You have to come and get it and try it. I like it. I always do. Yeah, bacon.
I've cleaned your bed out.
Look at this. We've got a bacon t-shirt. Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you're not going to try it? Okay.
No.
You'll like it anyway.
I know it's good.
Yeah, you know it's good. Enjoy.